I know you've been, how many, let's see, which number of stops is this for you today?
I'm on my third or stop.
Is that all?
That's
okay,
all
right.
good.
Well,
That's good. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, well,
really
well, we are tickled pink that that you're willing to come over to Paris and Henry County. We always appreciate any time that somebody come over this way and get a better understanding of what's going on over here.
You know, that's exactly why Tim invited me. He said, just come and meet my constituents, and that will help you understand me. And that's exactly
right.
why I'm here.
That's right. And, you know, and our needs and all. And Tim's heard me go round and round on our needs for Henry County, but infrastructure is always a big need for any rural area. We've got a lot of interstates and four-lane highways around here, but they always seem to be a little far from Paris and Henry County. So anything you could help us out on, just keep us in mind on these things. Besides roads, another big one for me is, and I don't even fly out of the airport much, but our local airport. Anything that can be done to help, because that sort of helps smooth over how hard it is sometimes to get to some parts of the state, but when you can have a good airport you can fly into. So maybe you know, we've got some more four-laning we'd like, especially from here to the state of Kentucky, if we can ever work with them and get that you know.
I understand.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to just pave to the state line and say, okay, here it is, you do your part, you know, because we never can get them on the same.
Well, one of the things that you get that we're very fortunate to have that project back in the 3-year RPO, and that you know, we'll be starting the purchase of the right of way, which will 4-lane from the city limits, and we'd like to get it all the way up to Interstate 24. But again, we've got that where that state line comes back. Fortunately for us, Kentucky has at least come back to the table and started to talk about whether or not, so it's not that it's totally dead in the water to go all the way up into Kentucky, but that is one of the things is and you know, we alluded to this in the winding days of the session about states that join one together, projects working together on projects. This is one of them particular projects that we may have to help, that you know, we get Kentucky on board, and we're on board, and we go up there and be able to follow through. But we're just hoping to be able to start the first leg of it.
Because it always seems like one state or the other is ready to go, but the other one's not, so it falls through the cracks, you know.
Yes, yeah, so it sounds good. Are we close to the airport where we are now? Or?
Yes, matter of fact, we've been privileged to have the governor land here several times, bringing him into the district. But yes, but yeah, we're about 9 miles from.
Any county has an airport at 7 miles from downtown. So, and it's a pretty nice airport. Always, you know, I'd love to have a 7500, 75, you know, have a longer runway, you know, which is a little cheaper than doing a lot of four-laning, of course. So, you know, if we can get land and get that paid, that does a lot. But you know, we have another leg of our 218 bypass around Paris in the works, and the final leg we're hoping will come back on the state's radar at some point. We'll be about 3/4 around Paris, and that last fourth, or maybe even a little less than the fourth. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Going from 641 over to Highway 79. But us having the ability, you know, the construction start 2013 on that, and a lot of the purchasing of the right of way and stuff is in the progress on that one. We'll have that last leg that in construction 2013. So that's going to be great, which we're very fortunate to have.
And that's going to tie in very well with the first leg of widening 641, which will be widened right around the place where that leg comes in.
Exactly.
And that's so tied to economic development in any community, and you realize that. So.
It definitely is. You know, so
Tim's on it.
Well, all right. So listen to him, please.
Okay.
We appreciate that. Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah. And okay. Now I've got some other questions for you, just as long as I've got the speaker here.
Sure.
Some of it has no bearing on anything really. Like, I wanted your impression of the first presidential debate, which is in the news right now, since it was just last, you know.
That's fair. You know, I try to be, obviously I'm a Republican, But I really tried to be impartial. I thought, the first thing I thought was, can you imagine the stress those two people are under?
I
mean, I
cannot.
can't even, there was so much pressure from both of them. But trying to be objective, I really thought Mitt Romney seemed to handle himself better, and it is a lot about how people feel when they see you answering those questions, not only what you say. But I thought he seemed like he was on top of his game. And I thought President Obama was playing a lot of defense, and but then I might be prejudiced. I don't know. But I do think that both gentlemen had good answers, and they stated their philosophical views about the economy and job creation, etc. So of course, I love this stuff, so I enjoy watching it.
Now let's say you've been in the House 24 years.
Yes.
A lot of changes over
A lot
those
of
years,
changes, yes.
Any particularly the last couple of years as Speaker, what have been your twofold question? What have been your biggest accomplishments? And the other side, what are things that are still on the table that you haven't been able to
Sure.
get done?
When I was fortunate enough for my colleagues to allow me to be the speaker, and I mean, I never in my wildest dreams when I came down there ever thought I'd be speaker.
Right.
And so it's been a sea change in the General Assembly. And one of the things that Tim and I both had agreed on, when I became speaker, I made it clear that I was speaker of the entire House, and that I would treat every member with respect and dignity. And be fair, and I think I've done that. And whether they are a Democrat or Republican, I want them to feel like their speaker treats them well. And I think one of the things I'm most pleased with is that we have really risen above partisan bickering on the Tennessee to get a lot of things done. When we're not like Washington, D.C. They just seem like they've allowed the fights between the Democrats and Republicans to bring this nation to its knees. And you're not seeing that at the state level. I mean, we really treat each other with respect down there. We can differ without being ugly. And, I think consequently because of that, we've been able to do some great things. I mean, I was telling Tim, went to the speakers conference about 2 weeks ago, and I was the only speaker that could get up and say, in the state of Tennessee, we eliminated the gift tax, we eliminated the death tax, we lowered the sales tax on food, we balanced our budget, we set additional money aside in our rainy day fund. That's quite an accomplishment, and that doesn't happen without good people in the General Assembly, and Tim is certainly one of them.
I know you're asking Beth, but I want to interject.
All right.
Just from that side, just being a freshman and seeing what a great speaker that we have, we watched numerous people that were retiring this year or resigning and stepping down. You could see the respect for the speaker and the respect that the speaker had for the others as toward the tail of the session, as they wound down, whatever the proper English there is. Depends on where we went to school. But anyways, that she would come from her seat at the top and congratulate them and give them hugs, and you could just see the mutual respect that was there in that house. And I think that's why she governs the way that she governs and leads, most important, the way that she leads. And you understood why we were able to accomplish this year, the past 2 years that we have been, because when you have someone like Beth that is leading, but most importantly doing it by example, I guess we try to instill this in my own children. When you respect others, they're going to respect you. And you could see that's, does she have to rule with an iron fist sometimes? Yes, she does. But most importantly, you could see, and it wasn't just okay, see you later, you're gone. Yeah. You could see the real emotion and the friendship, and from both, and I'm not just talking about Republicans that were retired and stepped aside, I'm talking about Democrats and some long-time serving Democrats as well. So I think that's why she will hold that office for some time.